The uncomfortable opening, brother. What I'm about to tell you is something most women will never say out loud. If you ask them directly, they'll deny it. They'll label it toxic, manipulative, or outdated. But stop listening to what people say and start watching what they do. When you observe women's behavior instead of their words, the same pattern appears again and again, across cultures, across generations, across every type of woman. There is one thing that consistently works no matter what she claims to want. Traditional or modern, educated or not, conservative or liberal. This goes past conscious preferences and triggers something deep, instinctual, biological, automatic. And that's exactly why women resist admitting it. Why this truth is denied. Admitting this would mean acknowledging something uncomfortable, that attraction isn't as rational as people pretend, that choices are driven more by instinct than by logic, more by biology than by stated values. What women say they want and what actually makes them feel attraction are often two completely different things. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius warned that people lie to themselves more than they lie to others. They misunderstand their own motivations. And when it comes to attraction, this misunderstanding is everywhere. Today, we're removing the illusion. The one thing that actually works. So what is the one thing that works on every woman? Genuine indifference to her validation combined with a clear purpose in your own life. Not being rude, not being cold, not playing games, but truly not needing her approval to feel whole. At the same time, being deeply invested in something that matters more to you than her attention. That combination is powerful and unavoidable. The biological trigger. At a deep psychological level, women are drawn to men who have options. Men who are not destroyed by rejection. Men whose lives don't collapse if one woman walks away. This is called abundant signaling and pre-selection. When you don't chase validation, you communicate without words that your life is already full. Scarcity is unattractive, abundance is magnetic, and the mind reacts to that automatically. Why neediness kills. Attraction. Most men are starving for female approval. They text constantly, they monitor her reactions, they shift their behavior to keep her happy. That need leaks through everything they do. And neediness is the fastest way to kill attraction. But the man who is focused on his mission, his work, his body, his growth, his future, treats female attention as an addition, not a solution. Women feel this difference instantly, even if they can't explain it. Psychological tension and challenge. When every other man is chasing her and you are fully engaged in your own life, you become the challenge. Human beings value what they have to earn. When your attention isn't freely given, when it has standards attached to it, she becomes emotionally invested in securing it. Not because you're manipulating, but because your life already has structure and value. Real-world examples, text and time. The man who texts all day loses intrigue quickly. His availability signals emptiness. The man who replies when he has something meaningful to say, because he's busy working, training, building, creates curiosity. The man who drops all his plans for her is taken for granted. The man who respects his schedule earns respect. Your time only becomes valuable when you stop giving it away cheaply. Validation seeking versus inner security. The man who constantly asks, "Are you okay? Do you still like me? Are we good?" is asking her to manage his emotions. That signals insecurity. But the man who assumes stability, who focuses on living instead of monitoring approval, radiates inner security. And that security is deeply attractive. Stoic perspective. Epictetus taught this clearly. Make the best use of what is in your control and take the rest as it happens. Your purpose is in your control, your effort is in your control, your character is in your control. Her attraction is not. When you focus only on what you can control, indifference to validation happens naturally. And that indifference creates attraction without trying. The common objection. But women say they want emotional availability. Yes, from the right man, from the man who has already demonstrated value, from the man who has purpose and boundaries. Emotional availability without foundation feels like neediness. With foundation, it feels like depth. Sequence matters. First, purpose and independence. Then, emotional openness. Most men reverse this and fail. How to live this, not perform it. This only works if it's real. You must actually build a life worth living. Develop real goals. Structure your time around them. Stop seeking validation. Be willing to walk away. Maintain real options. When your life is full, indifference isn't an act. It's a byproduct. Women can sense the difference instantly. Fake confidence repels. Authentic independence attracts. Final truth. The one thing that works on every woman that she'll never openly admit is genuine indifference to her validation combined with a strong purpose in your own life. Not because you don't care, but because you are already complete. Build your life first. Let women fit into it, not define it. Do this, and you won't need tricks. You'll become the kind of man women naturally pursue. Reality doesn't care about what people claim to want. Psychology follows its own rules. Now the question is simple. Are you willing to live this or just hear it? What happens when you truly live this way? Once you start living this way, something strange happens. You stop obsessing over outcomes. You stop replaying conversations in your head. You stop trying to control how she feels about you. And ironically, that's when women start leaning in. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're no longer trying at all. You become calm, grounded, unreactive, and that emotional stillness creates gravity. Women feel safe around a man who isn't internally chaotic, a man who doesn't need reassurance to stay centered, a man who doesn't panic at uncertainty. Detachment is not coldness. Understand this clearly. Indifference is not cruelty. Detachment is not emotional absence. You still care. You still listen. You still show interest. But you don't attach your self-worth to her response. You can enjoy her presence without fearing her absence. That's the difference. Most men confuse attachment with connection. But attachment is fear. Connection is choice. Women feel that difference instantly. Why she tests you. Once attraction begins, tests appear. She may pull back. She may delay replies. She may question your intentions. She may create emotional friction. Not consciously, but instinctively. She's asking one question. Does this man remain solid when uncertainty appears? If you chase, explain, over-justify, or panic, you fail the test. If you remain steady, calm, and focused on your life, you pass without saying a word. Strength is quiet. The power of walking away. Nothing demonstrates value more clearly than the ability to walk away. Not dramatically, not angrily, not as a threat, but peacefully. When something no longer aligns with your standards, you leave without resentment. That tells her everything she needs to know. A man who can walk away is a man who doesn't fear being alone. And a man who doesn't fear being alone is a man with real power. Why this feels different to her, women often say things like, "He just feels different." I don't know why, but I'm more drawn to him. He doesn't pressure me. He's calm. What they're feeling isn't mystery, it's non-neediness, it's self-containment, it's direction. You're not pulling from her, you're inviting her. And that changes everything. When emotional availability finally matters. Here's the part most men misunderstand. Once she's invested, once she's pursuing, once she feels chosen, not chased, That's when emotional openness becomes powerful. Now vulnerability builds connection, not repulsion. Now prioritization feels meaningful, not desperate. Timing is everything. Depth without foundation collapses. Depth after attraction creates bonding. This is not manipulation, this is sequence. The Stoic core. Revisited, the Stoics never taught detachment from people. They taught detachment from outcomes. You act with integrity, you show up with presence, you speak honestly, but you release control over how others respond. That inner freedom is rare, and rarity creates value, the final reality. Most men will never live this way. They'll memorize tactics, they'll copy behaviors, they'll pretend not to care while caring deeply, and women will feel the incongruence immediately. This path requires real work, building purpose, building discipline, building identity. But if you commit to it, attraction becomes a side effect, not the goal. You stop chasing women, you start building a life. And women decide, on their own, whether they want to be part of it. Why silence speaks louder than words. There will be moments when silence does more than explanation ever could. When she pulls back and expects a reaction. When she goes quiet and waits to see if you panic. When she creates distance to test your emotional stability. Most men rush to fill the silence. They explain, they justify, they chase clarity. You don't. Not because you're playing power games, but because your life continues regardless. Silence from a grounded man feels powerful. Silence from a needy man feels desperate. The difference is intention. Emotional self-control is the real attraction. Women aren't attracted to men who feel nothing. They're attracted to men who feel but are not ruled by emotion. You experience desire, uncertainty, interest, but you don't let those emotions dictate your behavior. That restraint signals maturity. A man who can regulate himself feels safe at a biological level. Chaos repels, control attracts. Why explaining yourself? Too much destroys value. The moment you start over-explaining your intentions, you lower your position. Not because communication is bad, but because excessive explanation signals self-doubt. High-value men don't convince. They decide. They state their boundaries once. They express interest clearly. Then they let actions speak. Certainty is attractive. Justification is not. The difference between confidence and arrogance. Confidence is quiet. Arrogance is loud. The confident man doesn't need to prove. He doesn't compete. He doesn't posture. He knows who he is and where he's going. That inner certainty creates calm authority, and authority, when it's natural, is deeply attractive. When she starts investing, you'll notice a shift. She initiates more. She asks questions about your life. She adjusts her schedule. She seeks your attention, not the other way around. This is the turning point. Do not change your structure. Many men fail here by suddenly over-investing, over-giving, over-prioritizing. Consistency is key. What attracted her must remain present. Choosing, not chasing. At this stage, you are no longer chasing, you're evaluating. Does she respect your time? Does she add peace or chaos? Does she support your purpose or distract from it? Attraction without alignment is meaningless. You don't choose based on chemistry alone. You choose based on value exchange. That mindset shift is critical. Why this lifestyle filters? Women naturally living this way does something important. It filters. Women who seek validation, drama, or control lose interest quickly. Women who respect direction, boundaries, and strength lean in. You don't need to reject many women. Your lifestyle does it for you. The cost of this path. Make no mistake, this path has a price. You will disappoint people. You will be misunderstood. You will walk away from situations others would tolerate. But you gain something far more valuable. Self-respect. And self-respect compounds. Final Stoic reminder. You were never meant to build your life around being chosen. You were meant to build something meaningful and allow others to choose whether they align with it. That includes women. Focus on your craft, your body, your principles, your future. Let attraction follow, not lead. Closing truth. This was never about women. It was about becoming unshakable. When you no longer need validation, you stop giving your power away. And paradoxically, that's when people are drawn to you most. Not because you demand attention, but because you no longer seek it.